just a good old boy.
We're working on the sprayer booms again today. I got a little bit of cold going on. I got a bunch of other things to do, so I'm probably just going to get started working on this, and then I'll finish this video up on welding on another day. I just want to go over some things right quick while I got a minute that I've gotten done so far with this thing and what we were doing. The other day, y'all may remember I was talking about my drill press being broke. Got my new piece that the machinist made me to go on here. It's a collar, it's just got a bolt. I already made this, but I just didn't have the time. I couldn't have made this piece though. He made this piece here where that thing bolts up. Let me turn the light on. Where that thing bolts up right there, and it looks identical. He machined it to what was on the cast piece for this table. Now I bought this off of Amazon for nearly nothing. It's not the best quality in the world, but it's doing what I want to do. This is I think it's a 5-inch two-way vise, or three-way, whatever they refer to it as. You tighten it here, which is what I had. I just had a 4-inch. Then these handles here, when they're loose, let me loosen everything up, will adjust the direction that you want to go, that way and then this way. So now I've got a fully adjustable thing that I can spin it if I want to. With this table, it has a collar down here, which is part of the original cast, so I'm kind of iffy to even mess with that thing. They'll spin. Now, I finally got this thing back going and working again. Let's see. Here's the piece that was broke. I didn't have it the other day. The one I got now doesn't have a hand crank. Make sure y'all can see. It don't have a hand crank, but it'll work just fine. I just loosen it up and slide it up and down. This is the pieces that come out of it. There's two. This chunk and that chunk went here. He said there was no way to weld it. I thought about welding it, but as thin as this mess is, it just was not going to work. They should have made that thing out of metal to begin with, but you know how these companies are from China. They just build everything as cheap as they possibly can. Now over here is the booms. I've got all my braces put in to the booms where we left off the other day. I didn't have that done. I welded all those in. I put my hinges on for the extensions. I don't remember if I did that in the last video or not on those. I think I did on those. I ain't sure though. But anyway, I put the hinges on them for the extension parts that goes on for the fold, and then I've also got the hinges on this end now. This is what I ended up with here. Slide right in there, and there's the pin. Let's go right down here. I got grease fittings here. That and there's not in there yet. To grease these pins on these sleeves and everything. And that's the pin we ended up with. Got to drill another hole in one end of that. Did the same thing on that one. There's the welds. A little bit rusted. But got it welded up good. I think it's going to hold. The only piece that's in question of not holding up is the actual pipe pieces here that I welded on. They're just not quite as heavy as I want, but it's hard to find stuff to make hinges out of anymore like that. That's the thickness that you really want, and it's made like it. That's seamless and doesn't have a seam down it. That's tight fit around a pin, because you don't want a lot of play, because then it'll cause it to break anyway. So it's hard to find exactly what you need anymore for that kind of stuff out of that material. It's aggravating. I hadn't took these booms off yet. I'm gonna wait and take these off whenever I get all this done. So what I've got to do right this minute is I'm gonna take these sleeves here out. I've got to drill 2 grease fitting holes, one here and one there, in those sleeves. So that way I can put grease certs in those for the slide up and down on the frame, and then I've got to weld all this up. Alright, we're going to get started. I'm going to take and put mark 2 of these places to put these grease certs in. And we'll go over here and start drilling. Okay, so I've got my next spot to drill marked out. Now I'm going to adjust it just a hair with this vise to get it centered. It's important that you get these things exactly how you want them, because if you don't, you'll break bits drilling sideways and everything else. And I gotta do it all over again. Pull the thing back just a hair. There we go. Tighten her back down. If you do any kind of metal work drilling a lot, you need to get you a drill press. They're worth every cent. Don't buy a Black Bull, but get you a drill press. With a hole like this, with a regular drill, you're sitting there trying to drill through. This is thick steel too. It's 3/16 steel. And it takes forever, and this is American steel to get through, and then, or you can take a drill press effortlessly and be through it in no time. And then there's one down. I got one more to do, and then we'll have this part done. Now, if I would have been drilling a lot of holes consecutively, making a lot of heat, I would have sprayed that drill bit, but being I was just drilling 1 or 2, I didn't worry about it. Dang it. This thing's loose. Come out of there. Now we're going to tap these. Need to get me a new tap and die set. This one I got at Track Supply ain't worth a crap. I wore my other one out. Just kind of work it in. Turn a little ways, cut, turn back. Turn a little ways, cut, turn back, and this dang thing is slipping on me. There's a little cheap set I got a while back to get me by. Honestly, it ain't worth a crap. Hey, what's wrong with them things? But hay has been doing good. We've had good luck with our hay business this year. Done really well. A lot of hard work's paid off. A lot of the paint and rearing things I've done to make sure that the quality is good is paying off and coming back to help us out on sales. And we're really doing good this past year on our hay. Going forward, we're going to be expanding the way things look, hopefully, and we'll see where we get. It just depends on the weather. really to make any big changes from what we're already doing. The process I've got lined up is working pretty good. From soil management to the machinery itself that we have, everything's doing good. Don't really see any major changes from that standpoint. Just a continuation. We've got some more growing to do in sales and some other things that's going to have to be done before we make any changes to operation as far as the process that we go through it, because everything's just working out really good right now. It's just going to take time. I could easily go and borrow money, or we could here on the farm, and buy some larger equipment, try to get bigger, quicker, and if the bottom falls out or something happens, say a drought, don't have a clue who that is, happens, say a drought happens, you can lose it all very easily and very quickly, especially in the hay business. Hay business is not made for the faint of heart. It's a very tough business to be in. It's very difficult to make a living in hay. You can do it. It takes a lot of money to get started, or you're going to have to go really slow and just do it as something to make a little extra cash on the side for a long, long time, like we did. And then when you're ready, kind of take the next step forward from there and just slowly grow. It's very difficult to go out and just jump feet first in and buy everything you need, because the equipment's very expensive and there's a lot of risk if you don't know what you're doing and you're not careful. But that's kind of where we're at. Alright, so we're down here at the other shop and I'm welding. Got everything laid out and partially welded together, so that way it'll stay. I've got to finish up welding it, but this is actually the center frame that's the hinges or the booms and everything's going to hang off of. Again, this is receiver hitch tubing that I'm building this out of. This is the inner and this is the outer tubing on these. I used outer here because I'm going to weld the inners on the actual piece I'm welding on the sprayer, which will be to where I can put a cylinder center and raise it up and down. When I hadn't got to that yet, I had to get this welded up before I did those, so that way I could set them to where it'll slide and everything will be true. Well, I got it laid out. I got to square it up. I'm going to weld one side first and then set the other side off of it and square it. I've got it on the floor here. It's not exactly perfectly level. That's one downside in this shop, but it's the closest thing I've got. So, I'll get it set to 90 degrees. Alright. Now, it should, sure y'all still recording, that should have me where I can stand this thing up now. so what I'm doing now, I got done with that out there, is I'm taking these flat pieces of steel. They're 1 inch wide by an 1/8 thick, and I'm cutting these up to make the nozzle holders for my sprayer arms. For the ones I'll make, I'll go over a little bit more here in a minute when we get ready to start drilling the holes. But right now I'm going to cut these up with this chop saw. Now I've got all these cut. I've got a pile of them over here. I don't know if y'all can see them or not. Probably should be able to. Now I've got to mark all the places that I need to tap these, so that way when I drill them, the bit will stay where it should be. So I've got to go through all 16 of these now and mark these with a Sharpie. I like to use a Sharpie. You can use the sticks. I got pieces of them and stuff, but it does, with making a pinpoint mark or something on steel, a red Sharpie to me does a little bit better job than those things. But for big cuts with a torch or something, they work good. So I'm just going to try to find the center point right there in the middle of that hole for that. Now I've got my mark there. Now I've got to make a mark out here. What I'm probably going to do is go ahead and drill the holes in this one, and then I'll take it and use it as a template. And I'll probably just make a small hole where the big hole is going to be. That way it'll be easier to mark it with this, and I won't have to sit here and move this thing around and hope I get it straight the entire time. So I'm just going to take and draw a circle around each one of these. That way I've kind of got something to center out. Right there and there. And now I'm going to take my center punch, and I'm going to tap these. Mark them for the drill bit. We'll go drill some holes in this thing, and then I've got to make 16 more of these things. So that's got them marked. Now I gotta find my drill bit hole size. So now I'm over here. Now I've got to tighten this up. Let's do this hole first. I don't know if I'll be able to drill these and this thing have enough of a movement to it to do this or not, but we'll see. First I gotta get it lined up. So that's that way. Now we need to probably see if I can't turn this thing just a hair, get it to where I need it. I think that is going to put me about where I need to be on depth. This clamps to one side a little bit more, so that way I can spin this table. And let me turn the light on, and then I can line it up a little bit easier. If it's a small piece, I can turn the table a little bit and get. If it doesn't have quite enough, I can get it in there a little bit better. That there would be good. Go ahead and tighten that down just a hair. We're ready to start drilling. lubrication. Couldn't find any drill oil, so I had to substitute it for just some regular lubricating oil.
That's what it's called. We'll be drilling some much. Gonna need it. I always run this thing on the lowest speed setting.
There's hole one. Loosen this up. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. But I can still go that way. I'm just hitting my pole. Let me come back this way. I'll have to reset my piece in there. There we go. That's got all those drilled. Now that we got those drilled, now I got to mark all these plates with this and tap them. So we're going to be here a while. Well, this is the last one here. And I'll finally be done. That's it. Finally got that mess over with, so now I gotta go put new box numbers on my road sign for our driveway. So that's it for today. Thank y'all for watching. Please comment, rate, subscribe. I've got a whole pile of them done. That's all of them. There's 16 there. I gotta go find some more of these. Track Supply only had about 7 of them, so 7 or 8 when I got them. So now I gotta go find some more of those, maybe some lock nuts to go on, or spot washers, so that way they don't back out. But nearly got her done. Other than I've got the ups and downs welded, I've got the frame built for the center, the booms are built. Now the next part y'all are probably going to see is me welding it all on here. I'm not going to show taking all this mess off. That's boring. Y'all probably don't care about seeing that. But I've got to cut all this off, take it off, pull everything off. I'm going to leave all the hoses on those booms for now, and then when I get everything else mounted up, we'll mount them on. I got to make the mounts for the cylinders and figure out a way to get those midsections to fold back. I've got a pretty good idea of what I'm going to do, but hadn't got there yet. We're still at the drawing board, but for the most part, I think I got it figured out. So that's it for today. See y'all next time.